In the early 1960s, admiration between Paul McCartney and Bob Dylan did not come naturally. McCartney once brushed off Dylan's debut album as unremarkable folk music. Yet everything changed in 1964 when he stumbled upon a copy of that very record at a French radio station. Curious, he brought it back to the Beatles Hotel in Paris. What followed was immediate and intense fascination. The band immersed themselves in Dylan's sound, and as John Lennon later recalled, they became completely captivated. Dylan had gone through a similar shift. At first, he dismissed the Beatles as lightweight pop aimed at teenagers, but within weeks, he reconsidered. He recognized something bold in their music, especially in their daring chord progressions and layered harmonies. What he once saw as superficial began to feel innovative and exciting. Both Dylan and the Beatles shared a deeper trait beneath their initial skepticism. They were driven by constant reinvention. Dylan admired the Beatles' global reach, while they were drawn to the depth and poetic force of his lyrics. According to writer Jim Windolf in his book Where the Music Had to Go, their relationship evolved into a lifelong creative exchange, marked by rivalry, encouragement, and mutual inspiration. Lennon, in particular, felt compelled to absorb Dylan's artistic approach. He became fascinated not only by Dylan's music, but also by his image and lyrical honesty. Lennon started to question his own songwriting, worrying that his words followed predictable patterns. He even adopted elements of Dylan's style, down to wearing a similar cap, while quietly fearing accusations of imitation. Despite this admiration, Lennon hesitated to meet Dylan face to face. Windolf describes them as two powerful figures, cautiously orbiting one another. Lennon wanted to feel equal before making that introduction. His unease became visible at a London party in 1964, where even hearing Dylan's name stirred frustration. He wanted the meeting to happen, but only under conditions he controlled. Their long-awaited encounter finally took place later that year in New York during the Beatles' first American tour. As Dylan approached their hotel, the overwhelming crowd outside felt almost surreal, like a roaring wave of sound. When they finally met, any tension quickly dissolved. Humor bridged the gap, and their shared curiosity about altered states of mind added another layer to their connection. Dylan had even misheard a Beatles lyric, thinking it hinted at drug use, which amused them all. The impact of that meeting soon surfaced in the music. Lennon began writing songs that clearly reflected Dylan's influence, including You've Got to Hide Your Love Away, where he leaned into a more introspective and confessional style. Dylan responded in kind, sometimes critically. His song Fourth Time Around appeared to address Lennon's borrowing of his artistic approach, even echoing the melody of Norwegian Wood. McCartney also evolved under Dylan's influence. His songwriting reached new emotional depth, as heard in Yesterday. Beneath its simple melody lay a more ambiguous and possibly darker emotional core. The song also broke from the Beatles' usual sound by replacing their standard band setup with a string quartet, signaling a willingness to challenge expectations. Both artists continued to push boundaries. Dylan shocked his folk audience by embracing electric instruments, while the Beatles supported his bold shift. Soon after, their paths diverged physically, but not creatively. The Beatles stepped away from touring in 1966, while Dylan retreated to Woodstock. Yet both used this period to reflect and experiment. The Beatles looked back to their Liverpool roots for inspiration, even placing Dylan's image prominently on the Sgt. Pepper album cover. Meanwhile, Dylan explored American musical traditions in a more secluded setting. Among the Beatles, George Harrison formed the closest bond with Dylan. Their friendship led to collaborations and lasting influence. Dylan played a central role in Harrison's Concert for Bangladesh, helping shape the future of large-scale benefit concerts. Harrison, in return, later helped revive Dylan's creative energy through the Traveling Wilburys. Ringo Starr, though less directly involved in this exchange, earned Dylan's respect as a drummer. Dylan even remarked that having Starr in his own band might have changed everything. Decades later, the legacy of this creative relationship continues. Dylan and McCartney remain active, still producing music and performing to devoted audiences. Windolf reflects on their enduring commitment, noting that both artists understand the uncertainty of creativity. They know success is never guaranteed, yet they persist. That persistence, more than anything, defines their lasting greatness.